South Street is reeling after a night of mayhem. The Mardi Gras celebrations turned into a riot complete with looting last night. And one of the scariest scenes happened here when a motorist found himself trapped by the crowds. He could not go forward between 6th and 7th Street and backed his car up through the crowd, as you can see here, being pelted by bottles at the same time. He was then blocked by an appliance in the street. The motorist goes forward, this time much faster, running over anyone in his path. He turns north on 7th Street, flees the scene. The victims are helped from the scene. At least one person was taken to the hospital from here. And you can see more fighting in the car's path on South Street last night.
And then there was the looting. Several stores had windows smashed and merchandise stolen overnight. It was all starting about 11:50 as police pushed the rowdy crowd west. Some stopped in front of a store called Blondie's Boutique. They smashed the window, pulled out clothing and a mannequin. Next, it was up the street to Tower Records. Again, one person smashed a window, but the cops got there very quickly. And the next stop for looters was the wine and spirits shop on South Street. They also broke windows and went inside there. This is the Tower Records store. And shortly you will see the third store that was being looted. All of this started about midnight last night and went for a good hour and a half or more. And again, you can see people coming out of the store with some of the bottles from the liquor store shortly. Many of them who are looting falling over and police rushing to the scene to try to stop it all. Of course, the bill for property damage will run into the thousands of dollars, but the psychic scars from the mayhem will be more difficult to tally. And Action News reporter John Rollins is live now on the action cam with more on all of this. John.
Good morning, Monica. Well, this is the 700 block of South Street. Behind me is the State Store, which you just mentioned that had gotten looted last night. A small army of workers here came in and have cleaned it up. They've boarded it up and seem to have restocked the store. We do not know at this point whether it will be open today. It certainly looks like it could be open for business, but it's a real mess. But let's walk over here for a minute. You can see the front door of what seems to be a small apartment block here. The door has just been shattered. It's all the glass, all the tempered glass is down here. You see a number of scenes like this all through South Street, or all up and down South Street, I should say. A while ago, we heard from a proprietor, or an employee rather, of one of the boutiques. Her name is Mia Parker, and that boutique was ransacked. Take a listen.
Oh, I was watching on the news with like people running out of the store with dresses. That's all I saw was dresses and jeans, just running out the store. When I got here, it was like everything was all over the floor. We cleaned up a little bit. I don't think they were prepared at all. They should have been prepared because it was a nice day. The weather's been nice for the last couple of days, so they should have been prepared about all of the crowd that's going to be there. Because last year was like a ton of people, so they should have had more cops than they did last year.
Well, that ton of people out there certainly caused some havoc here. And as we say, an army of workers worked throughout the early morning hours to restore some calm and restore some civilization here after the chaos. Among the damaged establishments, the wine and spirit shop, which we talked about, Blondie's, which is a boutique, Tower Records. Witnesses tell of a mob that just rampaged through here, smashing and looting. A number of the people we talked to said that some within that crowd just wanted to take on police. They just wanted to have a confrontation. They certainly did have a confrontation, but as we say now, at least as of 5 o'clock, order has been restored. The streets have been opened here. They've been cleaned. For the most part, most of the glass has been swept up, so South Street will return to something of normal this morning. However, we expect we will be hearing from a number of officials, city officials, who are said to be livid over what has happened here in the last 12 hours or so, certainly the last 6 or 7 hours, and we will hear a lot about the aftermath of the Mardi Gras celebration here and the future of such Mardi Gras celebrations here on South Street. Live in Center City, John Rollins, Channel 6, Action News.
All right, John, thank you. Well, the events that led up to last night's mayhem actually began early yesterday morning. Mardi Gras celebrants began lining up as early as 4:30 a.m. yesterday to be the first in line when a number of South Street bars opened for business. By 7 a.m., the drinking and celebrating were well underway, but there were no serious problems. During the day, metal barricades kept the crowds in line. But as the sun set, the crowds grew and began filing up and down South Street. Police finally blocked the street to cars, but some got stuck in the throngs of people unable to move, as you can see here. But the problems, again, were relatively minor until shortly before 11 p.m. That's when police appeared to try to move the revelers out of the area amid growing incidents of fights, bottle throwing, and finally the looting rampage that Chopper 6 witnessed as it all happened. Action News reporter Dan Cuellar was watching South Street from a second-floor window when the crowd turned ugly last night. He now joins us live on the action cam after witnessing the Mardi Gras mayhem. A long night for you, Dan, huh?
Good morning, Rick. It was quite a night here last night. Very tense situation out here. The police were trying to do the best they could under the circumstances, but there were roughly close to 30 to 50,000 people out here. Just a very large crowd, a lot larger than anyone could have expected. Right now there is a large cleanup effort underway, which is personally being overseen by City Managing Director Joe Marks. Joe, can you tell us how the situation is going out here tonight?
Well, Dan, it's going slowly. I mean, there's an awful lot of debris out here. The damage that was done is just incredible. And I think it's incredibly disappointing that people can't come and enjoy themselves, have a nice time in our city without doing this much damage.
I understand all of you are incensed with what happened here last night.
It's outrageous. I mean, this is our city, and the taxpayers shouldn't be responsible for cleaning up this mess.
I know that you all had prepared for this for some time, you, the police, and bar owners. Could anyone have anticipated what happened here last night with all the planning that occurred?
Well, I think you plan in anticipation of people being responsible in their behavior, and when you come out and see the kind of behavior that was exhibited last night, I'm not sure how you actually plan for something like that.
I suppose the city right now is giving serious thought as to whether to allow something like this to occur again in terms of this kind of festivities.
Well, I think the mayor, the police commissioner, and I will be talking a great deal about that today.
All right. City Managing Director Joe Marks, who plans to meet, as he just said, he told me earlier that he would be meeting with these officials. They're going to be discussing a lot about this situation, which we saw, and we've been seeing these images throughout the morning. Even now, there are reports coming in of various injuries to revelers, police, and others, as well as thousands of dollars in property damage. The liquor had been flowing freely since early yesterday morning, and there was no question what many had in mind here.
Body, baby, body!
All I want to see is girls. That's it. That's it. Breast.
But before long, some women who had been burying their breasts in the Mardi Gras tradition found it increasingly hazardous, if not dangerous, as this woman found. Also sporadic fights. Police had been keeping things in check for most of the night, but soon the crowd, which by some estimates grew to between 30 and 50,000 people, became unmanageable. Violence erupted, and people like this man were caught right in the middle of it.
Well, I'm looking kind of beat up right now. Yeah.
What happened to you?
I was out here just chilling, man, just having a good time, and next thing I know, I got jumped by a bunch of people, got robbed and everything. It got crazy out here.
Groups of looting gangs worked their way up South Street, first breaking into the Blondie's boutique shop, which opened just a few months ago. They then worked their way up to the state liquor store, where officials say many cases of wines and other liquor were stolen. A number of other shops were hit along the way. Meanwhile, some motorists, like the driver of this car, tried to move out of the way and were attacked, as we see in these pictures from Chopper 6. In the motorist's frantic moments to escape, he runs into two people standing on South Street. Charles Romano was also attacked, his 1992 Acura Legend seriously damaged as he tried to drive out of the area.
I was seriously scared, like out of my mind. I was scared. I seriously didn't think I was gonna get out alive. I mean, I had tons of people jumping in my car after me. I was scared. I mean, I panicked and just drove. I drove straight. There was really nothing else I could have done.
Charles Romano from Bensalem, Pennsylvania, describing how it seemed his life flashed in front of him as he's being attacked by these roving gangs of young people as he was trying to escape the area. The latest count we're getting this morning is 200 arrests, 200 people who have been arrested on various charges for the melee that took place out here last night, including the looting and the rioting situation that occurred with the broken windows, etc. Now, Police Commissioner John Timody and the City Managing Director Joe Marks, who we just spoke with a few moments ago, are planning a news conference for later this morning to describe the situation and to assess the city's response to it. Live along South Street, I'm Dan Cuellar, Channel 6 Action News.
All right, thank you, Dan. You'll be back later in the next couple of hours.